Hello everyone, continuing the series of comparing Azure versus AWS versus Oracle Cloud Services. Today we'll talk about management service mapping. But before we get started, as usual, please like, subscribe, share our channel, and please go to our site, cloudmessite.com. Any customer, any small business owner or medium business owner who's looking for a affordable, near 100% uptime website and fast performing, our products are designed especially for you and are very economical. So with this, let's get started. So this table provides the comparison of the different management services that are there. And let's get started with the first one, which is monitoring. That involves continuously tracking system performance, application health, and resource utilization to detect issues and to ensure optimal operation. What are the options? In AWS, we have Amazon CloudWatch. In Azure, we have Azure Monitoring. And in OCI, we have OCI Monitoring. So let's hop on to the console and check each one out. Okay, so here in the AWS console, what you could do is you could type CloudWatch, and this is the option that you would be seeing, which is essentially for monitoring of the services. Now, you could come here, come to the metrics section, and in the metrics, you could click all the metrics and say if you have Amplify, right, or you use Cognito, you could come here and you could choose the metrics for Cognito, which are available. You could choose by user pool and user client. And you'll see a lot of these metrics that you could kind of choose, and you could have these graphs created out here. And it's not showing any data, but you could come here, graphed queries, and you could, instead of the average 5 minutes, you could choose what it is. And but let me do one thing. Let me just choose a lot of these so you could see some data. So this one doesn't have any. So let me choose another one. In this case, it could be EC2. EC2, there should be some metrics showing up. So there we go. So you see we have this metric here for EC2. And what I could do is I could even add to a dashboard here. If you see these three dots, I could add to dashboard. I could create my own dashboard, put it in a dashboard. So people who want, they could come in, view here. I could even do alarms. Like this is where I could come to the metrics. This is where, if you see, I can give the option of creating an alarm. So you see this was hidden here. I could come here, this bell icon you see, I can come here and I can provide the different parameters, after which I can create an alarm. So this is how you could go about using CloudWatch. You could use metrics, you could use dashboard, you could use alarm for monitoring your environment and your resources. Let's check out Azure now. So in Azure, what you do, we go to the search, you search for monitor. And Monitor is like similar to CloudWatch. It's the common platform that is used for Azure. And here in Azure, what you could do is you could check metrics. And similarly, here you'll have the options of different resource types. We'll have different subscriptions and different resources. This is what my resource was. You will see this is the storage account that I had created. You could choose this. You can hit apply. And you could see what is the availability, the transactions. I wouldn't have much data here, so you won't see much information. But I guess you get the point that similar to CloudWatch, with Monitor, you can get the similar data to dashboarding as well as alerting for this setup. And also, what I wanted to do, I could show you a workbook. So in the workbook, what you could do is you could create a workbook, and this is where you could create a workbook, and you could provide this metric here option, and you could also do a visualization. You could do links, tabs, or you could add for the metric for any chatting or demonstration you need to do. So let's check out how it will be in Oracle, and use search for monitoring. And this is where you come from monitoring in OCI, and this is where in monitored resources, there are no resources over here. So let me go choose the other one, which is service monitoring. So this is where you could see, like you could have the service monitoring, you could see the throughput. I don't have the services created as of now. So that is where you wouldn't see much information out here. But like similar to CloudWatch Monitor, you could see the different data once the service would be created. So I hope you get this understanding. And over here, if I come here, like availability monitoring, stack monitoring, I could enable stack monitoring, and I could then go about seeing the metrics as well, or the different resources, and based on which I can create alarms as well. Like this is where you see I have the metric extensions I could create, and once I have the metric extension, I would be able to go about creating an alarm. So pretty similar again to how the AWS model is set up. So let's go to the next comparison. So the next comparison we have is logging, that involves systematically recording application and system events to enable monitoring, troubleshooting, and analysis of performance and security. So what are the services provided? AWS has CloudWatch logs, Monitor has logs, OCI has logging. Let's quickly check it out. We are pretty much in the same portal, so should be a quick one. So in AWS, you were here, CloudWatch. We can go back, and let me go back to CloudWatch. And in CloudWatch, you see, you have this logs option. You could come here, you could click the log groups, and you could choose the different logs for your different applications. You could come and see the logs out here. There are these other options out here. You could do log anomaly. You could find the different anomaly patterns that are there for each log. You could tail the logs. You could run, if an application's running, you could tail it to check it out. Or you could write further queries as well. As part of the CloudWatch setup, you could do reporting, or you could even do contributor insights in here. So let's check out how will it be in Azure. So in Azure, but we are already here in Monitor. What we could do is but let's go back to Monitor. So in here, you see, you come to Monitor logs. Now this is where you could come to queries. Now here you could write a query. You could do a load to editor. And this uses KQL, which is custom query language that you could write, and it will be able to run this option here and fetch the data out here. So this is I'm getting an error here, but once you have the resources set up properly, you should be able to get the information out here. So now let's check out OCI. So in OCI, we'll go to logging. Now here in logging, what you could do is you could see the different logs here. You could have the queries also visualized in OCI dashboard, similar to Monitor as well as AWS. You can have logs set up here. You could create custom logs. You could enable service logs. You could have the agent configurations as well set up in OCI. You could have the connectors as auto done and any audit reporting information that is required. So there's a separate section for logging here in OCI compared to Azure and AWS. But now let's check the other comparison. So deployment. What are the deployment options? Deployment options essentially is infrastructure as a code that we can kind of deploy the resources. So deployment involves process of delivering, installing, and configuring applications or services in a target environment so that they are available for use. What are the common one? As you can see, the Terraform is the common one. That's the industry standard infrastructure as a code tool that a lot of the industries, pretty much everybody uses Terraform nowadays because it's cloud agnostic, and it has a lot of the API integration that sometimes even the native tools, such as for AWS there's CloudFormation, for Azure there is Azure Resource Manager, or OCI there is OCI Resource Manager. They also wouldn't provide as much as Terraform will provide. So here I will just show you the AWS, Azure and OCI native one. But Terraform, we have done a video on how you could have Terraform set up with GitHub, with GitLabs. And you can go and you can search at a page as well and get the blog information as well as the video information as well. So let's get to the console and check it out. So what I'll do is in AWS, I can come here and I can search for CloudFormation. So we use CloudFormation a lot. You'll see we have a lot of stacks deployed as part of CloudFormation, and we have created a video for the CloudFormation best practices. You can check that video out as well on how to go about using CloudFormation, what are the best ways to do, because you can run into issues with using it. CloudFormation, you could script both with JSON as well as YAML. For our recommendation is to use YAML because you could provide commenting, it's easier to read compared to a JSON setup. And you should always have nested stacks like the way it's done over here. But over here you could come and you can also use this drag and drop editor. With new resources you could choose, you could use the build with infrastructure composer, and you could come here, create an infrastructure composer, and you will be able to choose the resources. So let me show you how it will look like. Say if I have an API gateway, I can drag it here. And if I want to do a user pool, I can do another one here. And accordingly, you can go about creating the resources here. We don't choose this because we like to code, and it's a lot simpler compared to using the designer, where the code may require a lot more cleanup. So we recommend using the code option. To people who just are not comfortable with coding, they can come and check this out. So now let's look at Azure, what the option for Azure Resource Manager is. So if I come here and if I type in Resource Manager, so here in Resource Manager, what you could do is you could navigate to templates. So you could come here, you could search for templates, and here you will see you will have a lot more. You could come here, if you have the templates, you can create it, but you can come here and create a template. So while it opens, you could give the name here for the template, and this is the ARM template or your Resource Manager template. It'll all be JSON here. You could come here, write your template, which will also be spinning up the resources. And if you go to Google, like GitHub, there'll be a lot of resources already set up. And let's check out Oracle as well. So apparently, Resource Manager, what it does internally is it uses Terraform. And that is where you will be able to go about setting the resources. If you come here in Oracle, you will not find Resource Manager as a specific service, but it's a managed service for all infrastructure. And it's based on the Terraform software here. So which is much better compared to you creating your own service and causing confusion with your customers, because Terraform seems to be the de facto tool of choice. So with this, we have come to our end of comparison. I hope you were able to understand the different management services offering in AWS, Azure and OCI. So please like, subscribe, share, and subscribe to our newsletter for cloud updates. Thank you. Have a good day.